Hello everyone and welcome to GPVWC Superleague Lights. This is round 2 of the 2020 championship and we are at the Bahrain International Circuit. I'm being joined in the commentary box by my good friend Wopke Hoekstra. Hey there Wopke.
Hey, Catlin.
How are you doing and what are you most looking forward to about today?
I'm doing good, and what I'm most looking forward to today is the racing. We've seen the Formula Challenge and Super Cup so far, and the racing there has been really good, in my opinion. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to see how these guys can do. Of course, the level is even higher than the other two series. At least we may hope so. And yeah, I'm also looking forward to see if Liam de Waal, he currently top practice, is he going to be able to repeat his yeah, masterclass really of Australia.
Because Liam de Vries was absolutely dominant at Australia a 2 week ago, or 2 weeks ago, I should say. But anyway, definitely nothing here to say that it might have to happen twice in a row. He is looking strong, but well, we have a long race ahead of us in order to decide that. I should also give a quick shout out as well to our cameraman and broadcaster today, who is Gerrit de Vries. Gerrit doing a very, very good job. And again, we couldn't stream without people doing what he does. So on to the outlap heading towards the start finish line for the first flying lap. I'm just trying to work out who the first driver on track is. I think it's Konrad Zarebiec. There are a lot of drivers on the circuit just setting up for the first flying laps, but I think it's going to be Zarebiec who goes at it first in the TR Blue Bus car. Now, one thing of interest heading into this round is that, of course, between this round and the last round, there were the first instances of upgrades and development going on with the different cars. And actually, it seems that Cenobite, who are the championship leaders, didn't go for any of it. So obviously, they feel that they have enough of an advantage through simply their drivers, and they don't need to upgrade just yet. They're going to save their upgrade points and they're going to save their development for possibly for round 3, the Turkish Grand Prix, and also for other future rounds of the series. Okay, what do you make of that?
Yeah, I think it's an interesting move. I think, well, I hope for them that they have already sent in their points because the minimum lead time for upgrades is 3 weeks. So if you want to do them for the next round, then yeah, you're gonna have to put them at the same time as the others to maximize the number of upgrades you can do. So I expect them to come with a bigger upgrade than the other teams came with for this round, and they will probably have a small advantage over the other teams in that case in Turkey. But I think there was also one more team who also did the same, who also hasn't brought any upgrades.
Yeah, indeed, it's Maris One Racing. Maris One, of course, who had a double DNF at Australia and will be hoping to do better today with their drivers Danny Robbins and James Tuber. But anyway, on the topic of Cenobite, they were very, very strong in practice despite the lack of upgrades, with Liam de Waal topping the times and Colin Spork 4th position. And of course, those two were extremely strong at Melbourne. De Waal won, Colin Spork was 7th on his debut, and I'm expecting that Spork is just going to keep going up and up as he gets more experience. Meanwhile, we're watching Konrad Zarebiec coming out of the final corner now, and he's about to complete his first flying lap, opens the RS, and this will set the benchmark. It's a 129.203, which is immediately beaten by a 128.451 from championship leader Liam de Waal. So de Waal goes to the top, Kosmala now goes second, Spork is third, and after 7 drivers have set laps, that's how they stand. Drivers continuing to stream over the start-finish line and set laps. Michael Francesconi, incidentally, was out on track, but he's come immediately back into the pit, so something not quite right on Francesconi's car there, and he's going to set up for another qualifying run, go out again and give it another go. Jeffrey Fournier now up into 3rd position there, 128.864, Wopke.
Yeah, that's pretty good, and we can immediately see indeed Liam de Waal is 3 tenths ahead of Kosmala in 2nd place. So yeah, impressive stuff once again, and we're going to see if anyone can beat that time, or maybe he will beat it himself. But also Fournier, he didn't race in Australia, but he's immediately looking very quick. Of course, we've seen him last year in Super League as well, and there he's been really quick as well. So I'm really looking forward to see maybe he can challenge De Waal for the victory today. Would be nice if we can see a really good battle for the lead.
Indeed. Well, so far the leaders are separated by 0.3 of a second, as you say. Kosmala is coming around the final corner now. I'm not sure whether he's on a lap or whether he's going into the pits. He is going into the pits. So instead, I'm going to take a look back to the times. Pedro Mora improved on his first sector. Again, we don't know just yet who is intending to complete their laps or who is coming straight back into the pits. You often see drivers just go out, set one banker lap to be safe, and then come back into the pits to set up their cars for the rest of the qualifying session, and that's exactly what we're seeing there. Mora doesn't complete the lap; he is into the pits, as is Jason Muscat and pretty much everyone else, to be honest. So. Anyway, this not such a crucial stage of qualifying, but of course the Bahrain circuit, it holds its rubber well, and what I mean by that is that it's a well-designed racing surface. It's of course paved with very grippy tarmac, and as a result, rubber tends to get laid down here, and the track gets grippier and grippier as the session progresses, meaning that often it's the last driver across the line who has the biggest advantage.
Yes, as we just see, Dino Polini slot into 6th place. He was the 2nd place finisher in last race, so yeah, we'll see what he can do today. He did continue for an extra lap after his first lap was a 1:36, which is way off the pace, so he must have made a mistake there. And he decided to put in an extra lap to get that extra banker lap in, I guess. So he's in 6th place so far, so that's pretty good.
So drivers who have not yet set qualifying laps, Francesconi hasn't, neither has Limburg, Reitveld, Harrell or Tapper. However, they are all out on track. Tapper about to cross the lane, and his first lap puts in P12. Not a bad effort, not great either, but whatever the case, Dawi Tapper 12th position, as more drivers continue to stream across the line. Lindbergh will be going into the pits, so
look at
still...
Francesconi. He's coming around the last corner now, and he was 1/1000th of a second up on Liam De Waal's time, so he could go into first now. Is he gonna do it? Ooh.
Oh, P2, less than 1/10 of a second off the lead. The reason I wasn't looking at him is that he actually got held up a little bit in the middle sector. So I wonder what he could have done if he hadn't found himself behind that traffic. And I also wonder whether he has the pace for pole here. So Michael Francesconi, who was very, very strong here last year in Super Cup. I seem to remember that I think he won race 1 here last year. But anyway, currently P2 in the beautifully liveried TG racing car. I think that's probably my favorite livery. I love the simplicity of it. Currently in P2.
Yeah, that's really good lap time. And Francesconi, indeed, as you said, last year in Super Cup, not only at this track, but maybe specifically at this track as well. He was really quick overall, and he challenged for the title until the end. So yeah, he's an impressive driver, especially pace-wise. So we'll see if he'll be able to challenge for the top spot. One driver who is struggling on the other end is Johan Lindberg in last place at the moment. He already did 4 laps, which probably means he went out. He went onto his hot lap, went back into the pits because he didn't finish his hot laps every time, and he did that twice already. So he must have made some mistakes in those laps, and yeah, he's probably not happy with the car at the moment. So we'll see if he'll be able to set a good time.
Improvement from Kosmala, sorry, he goes closer to the top 2, still stays 5th, although, yeah, that is an improvement, 1:28.677. Colin Spork also very nearly improved, however, had a little slide in the final sector. I reckon we got more to come from him. Jeffrey Fournier now crosses the line, 1:28.591. That is 3rd place for Fournier, so it's much closer at the front than it has been, or than it was at the last round. Although Liam De Waal now fastest first sector of anyone, so that may be about to be invalid again.
Yes,
Dipping
and I'm not
two
sure
wheels.
if sorry.
Sorry, dipping 2 wheels over the white line as he goes down the straight. You were going to say?
Yeah, really maximizing the track there. And I was gonna say, I think on his first run, he did have a little bit of traffic, and ooh, he's coming up to his teammate now. Might be a little bit of drag, slipstreaming there.
That's exactly what they're doing. That's Cenobite maximising the slipstream, Colin Sport giving it all to Liam Duval right until the very end. And Duval, after coming around the final corner, well, he lost a bit of time in the second. Actually, he lost a lot of time in the second sector, so I don't think this will be quicker from Duval. Yeah, he lost far too much time in the second sector, and even though his third sector was the fastest of anyone, he was still just over 100th of a second off. So Duval there losing out in the second sector, despite being fastest in the first and third.
Yeah, so that's unfortunate. Really good teamwork there from the two Cenobite drivers, but unfortunately no improvement for Dal just now. But yeah, he's going for another lap. He seems to be doing another hot lap. He seems to. Oh no, I think he's just cut it out now. I thought he was going to do another hot lap, but maybe the tires have gone after one lap. I'm not really that experienced with these cars, so I don't know how the tires will last during qualifying, for example.
Well, I reckon you can take 2 qualifying runs if you really are pushed for it, but these drivers won't want to. It's always going to be quicker if you do one, and if you nail that one lap, the tyres don't take that long to get up to speed. But anyway, I'm watching now Terence Garach getting into the top 10. I thought he might, and he's just set pretty much exactly the same lap time as Sandeep Singh, just 1,000th of a second off there. So almost got into P8 as well. So drivers we know here are capable of more than they're showing. Liam Duval, because he's been fastest in the first and third sector, but only lost out due to that second sector time. Michael Francesconi, who was very fast a little while ago, but again made or got slightly held up in the second sector. Colin Spork as well, who was briefly fastest of everyone in the first sector, but was not able to complete that lap. So Colin Spork currently sitting 15th. I reckon he has the pace for the top 5 here, maybe even the front row of the grid. Francesconi starts another lap. This is going to be one to keep an eye on as well, breaking down into the first hairpin and then accelerating up the hill. Difficult acceleration zone there. It's easy to spin up the rear tires, but Francesconi keeps it under control. Now up towards turn 4. No corner names here at Bahrain, unfortunately, but anyway, despite that, heads down the hill through the S's and towards a slower part of the course. He's got some traffic up ahead. Needs to make sure, well, there's not really anything that he can do, but luckily they do give way to him. And his first sector time is about 0.2 of a second down on what Duval set, slightly down on Francesconi's best first sector as well. Maximising the track, heading towards, oh, and that's wide. So Francesconi there would have lost about 0.2 of a second, maybe 3 in that, and that could well be his lap over. Of course, the disadvantage of running that wide is that you run over the curb, and because these cars have quite low ride height, that curb can really unsettle them at times.
And I think this is a miscommunication between the Cenobite drivers, because I think they're both starting their hot laps and they're both like really near each other. So, I think Colin is now just moving out of the way for Liam. So after all, maybe that's not the case. However, you were right. Indeed, that corner you can easily run too wide there, and you lose so much time. And we saw it with Francesconi as well. He did lose even more than 0.2 of a second. He was 8 tenths of a second behind his own time. So yeah, he really gave up on that lap, and rightly so. One driver who's going quite quick at the moment seems to be Hygo Boom. Oh wait, is he? It's just on his own time. Sorry, I'm just. I'm
Liam
just
Duval
at the moment.
is fastest of anyone in the first sector. I hope that Colin Spork will get another chance to set a lap. He doesn't have time to go back to the pits here. He has to go for it on the next lap. But anyway, for now, it is all about Liam Duval. Again, maximising the track, running over the curve. That's a much better entry into the uphill S's there. Really nailing the apex and nailing the second apex as well. This is great from Liam Duval. heading towards the tightening penultimate corner of the lap. Down the back straight, this is where he got a slipstream from Sport before. Quick second sector, but not quite as quick as he's done in the past. Now through the final corner he goes. Liam de Waal may well be on for a provisional pole position with this lap. He's already in provisional pole position, and that is an improvement. It's 1:28.318, and that's almost 0.2 of a second faster than Michael Francesconi. As it stands, Sandeep Singh also goes up to 6th position as we're watching that. And now this is Colin Spork's last chance to improve on his lap, which is vital since he's only down in P17.
So we've just seen a driver who's had a spin on the track, which is Thomas Wopke, and he is without any wings, and he's trying to make his way back to the pit lane at the moment. Really carefully though. I just noticed him as I was on board with another driver watching his hot lap. Yeah, that's not looking too good, and he's down in 21st position, and he won't be able to set another lap because the qualifying is almost over. So every driver on a hot lap now is on their last lap. So we're gonna see how it pans out for every driver.
Yeah, Walsh just got over the curb and accelerated too hard, coming out of what I think is turn 7. But anyway, has managed to make it back to the pits. Not that it'll matter. Final qualifying laps about to come in now. First sector time. Oh, de Waal will not be. Well, de Waal is backing off, so this is just down to Francesconi here. Francesconi 4/10 up in the first sector on what. Actually, he's about 1/10 up on what he's done previously, so that is an improvement from him. Through the second sector, needs to make sure he nails the apex. That was pretty good, not quite as good as de Waal's done it, but anyway, better than his last attempt. Out the hill. Meanwhile, Colin Spork has only gone P14. That is a big shame from a driver we thought might be able to challenge for the top few positions here. He's now been demoted to P15 as well. An improvement from Adrian Faber puts him P5. Here comes Francesconi now. I'm not sure that this is going to be good enough for Michael Francesconi. I'm pretty sure that it won't be. Crossing the line. Oh, it is an improvement, but he stays in P2. So 128.465 from Francesconi, and that's all she wrote for the session for him.
48.
Fournier back to cross the line and does not improve. So that's the end for Fournier. And that's now the end for everyone. Everyone has seen the checkered flag. So, de Waal takes pole, followed by Francesconi, Fournier, Kosmala, Faber, Rybacik, Tapa, Singh, and Saracino and Mayer. And we will update you on the rest of the order when it is confirmed when we head to the formation lap.
Yeah, that was a great session.
So I'm not sure if we have any adverts or anything that might be running right now, but anyway, we're just waiting for the warm-up session to start. But yeah, what an absolutely fantastic lap that was from Liam de Waal. He's been the fastest driver all season long, and he's looking pretty unstoppable. Pretty unstoppable in that Cenobite car. His teammate, Colin Spork, could not manage any better than P15. Now, the reason I'm being quite... Spork was actually demoted to P17 at the end there. Goodness.
Yeah, and that might be the effects of not having the upgrades on this round, because yeah, the upgrades, as a team manager myself, the upgrades don't really do too much, like, but they still do have an effect on the car, and yeah, you can really just gain that little bit of a yeah, just a small margin, maybe up to 1/10 of a second. And if we look at Colin Spork, for example, just 1/10 of a second would have put him 4 positions higher already. So even the tiny margins already, they would make a big difference in the standings, because it's all so close. And we can see the gap in the front for Liam de Waal has come down to 1.5 tenths as well, which was, well, of course, it's a different track, but it was 4 tenths in Australia. So people are getting closer, and the field is getting more competitive, in my opinion.
Still, it just shows you how competitive and how good Liam Duval is. I was the reason I was quite quiet there is because I'm trying to look for the penalties that outstand from last round. Danny Robbins has a penalty, as does Jakub Lali, Martin Rybacik, and Konrad Zaribiec. So those are the 4 drivers who are taking grid demotions heading to this round. All of them have different penalties, but anyway, we'll see how that affects the actual order when it updates itself. We now have a 10-minute warm-up session, which is the driver's last chance to get used to how their car is going to feel at the start of the race, and just get themselves warmed up if the qualifying session didn't warm them up enough already before the start of this race. Some drivers decide not to go out in this warm-up session because they decide that they just want a rest before the race starts. What's your normal strategy, Wopke?
Well, for me personally, I think I think I prefer to indeed stay in the pits. Maybe go out for 1 or 2 laps just to get a little bit of a feeling how it's like with the cold brakes, the cold tires again on heavy fuel, especially in these cars where you have to start with the full tank basically, and there's no refueling during the pit stops, which is different in my series. Um, but yeah, then it might be a good choice to go out for 1 or 2 laps just to get a feeling for where the braking points are. However, I think it's also a good idea to take some rest and not drive the full session, because then, yeah, in my opinion, there's not really a use to driving quick lap times during the warm-up session. It's just a little bit get a little bit of a feeling and take some rest so that you're mentally prepared for the race. And yeah, that's my strategy really most of the time.
Sure, I tend to go out in the final minute or two, just do a lap or two before, before the session changes over. And I noticed a couple of people doing some racing practice too. That's Sandeep Singh going side by side with one of the TG racing cars. That would be Jason Muscat. So the two of them having a ding dong scrap, despite the fact it's not for points or position. And often that's a lot of fun to do, to just get yourself warmed up before the race as well. Feel how your car handles in turbulent air as well. A lot of people misjudge that. A lot of people at the start don't know quite how difficult it is going to be to get their car to turn in for the corners when they're in the turbulent air of a car in front, and that can catch people out if you're not aware of it. So this can very much help you get into that kind of mindset as well. And of course, in qualifying, you wouldn't have had a chance to practice on a full fuel load. That's only really something that you can do in the warm-up session before the race. And of course, that really dramatically changes how the car feels as well, as it's effectively like having a very, very heavy passenger or two strapped to the back of your car.
Yeah, indeed, it's a lot different. You can see the lap times drop a lot as well. We're yet to see lap times in this session, but here we go. Well, it's Sandeep and Jason and Heiko Poom all setting 32s, while we were setting 28s in qualifying. So that's nearly 4 seconds slower. So the 3.5 second gap, and that just shows you how much of a difference it is between the low fuel load and the high fuel load. And it means the braking points change, and yeah, the steering input you have to give as well. So yeah, and it's also really important indeed, as you said, the dirty air. It's really noticeable in these cars, and you really have to practice with it. If you haven't done so yet, then you have to do it right now, because this is your last chance of getting some experience, and otherwise you will be yeah, really caught napping, I guess, during the race, and people will pass you because you don't know how to drive in the dirty air.
So hello to everyone joining us on the YouTube stream. Give us a wave if you're watching along. Just kind of wave at your computer screen. We won't be able to see it, but you'll look mighty funny. If you have any questions about the upcoming race, any predictions or anything like that, then if you leave them in the chat, we'll have a quick look before the start of the race. We've still got 5 minutes left of this warm-up session, and it is plenty of drivers, plenty of team bosses watching along. We've also got a link to the live timing there from Gerrit, or Susial as he is in the chat, if you want to follow along in that way. But anyway.
Yeah, the live timing is really nice as well, with sector times for each driver, and you can see the gaps easily as well. But you can also see the gaps, of course, on our overlay. So maybe that's not really necessary. But for the sector times, it might be interesting to have a watch there as well. You can see the latest lap times for every driver. Yeah, so that's really nice to have along with your broadcast. So.
And the award for first comment goes to Josh Downard. That is confirmed. So, well done, Josh. Of course, he is one of the two team bosses of MDR, Mayor Downard Racing, that he runs with his best friend Jack Mayer. Jack Mayer currently sitting P9 in this session in one of the Mayor Downard Racing cars. Lewis Bickers racing the other Mayor Downard Racing car. He's currently sitting P5 in this session. Not that positions from this matter, although anyway, it's yeah, MDR hoping for a slightly better round than they had last time. They were running relatively well for the majority of the race, but the actual result left something to be desired at the end.
Yes, as I'm trying to load the standings and to see what they exactly did, but
Me too.
I can imagine that they weren't.
I believe Mayer got involved in an incident with Reberchik, and that's why Reberchik has his penalty for this round. It's a 10-slot grid penalty for Reberchik, which is going to put him a little way down the order. The MDR drivers actually weren't as badly affected as I thought they were. They both finished in the top 10, with Bickers 8th and Mayer 9th. So actually, that's better than I thought it was.
Yes, the double top 10 in this series is really really good, and they're in 5th place in the team standings, so or in the constructor standings, I should say. But yeah, that's a pretty good result, and yeah, perhaps they are looking for a little bit more. Maybe they can get near the top 5 this time around. We'll see, but I think the field is really close right now, so yeah, that's going to be really tight, and we're going to see a lot of slipstreaming here, I think, and I think your strategy is going to be key in all of this, because one of the issues we did see in Super Cup already is that the tire wear seems to be really high.
Really high. Okay, that's going to be something to look out for.
Yeah. So
yeah, brake wear pretty high as well. Of course, last time we saw brake failures towards the end. I think towards the end of the Super League race, although I'm not sure about Super
we
League
also saw
Lights.
them yesterday in the Super Cup. So
Really?
and the Super Cup are even shorter races than the Super League Lights. So yeah, we had in the feature race, we had Menno Klont whose brakes failed just 3 laps before the end. So that's 26 laps with the brakes. But in the sprint race as well, and the sprint race was only 19 laps long, and we still had a driver with a brake failure. I think it was Pedro Gomez. So yeah, the brakes are really tough here, and as well as the tires. So really a wear-heavy circuit, I guess. And we've seen it before, and we'll see if there are any drivers who have made the mistake of not properly testing the brake settings, or just trying to keep them to a minimum and just trying to make it too tight. And that will be interesting near the end of the race, especially, indeed, as you said.
Yeah, I'll keep an eye out for that. Just a reminder, in terms of the championship, Liam Duval is P1. Dino Paolini is P2, although he had a slightly He struggled in qualifying today, as did Tawi Tapper a bit. He's currently third in the championship, followed by Pedro Mora, then Sebastian Kozmala, Sandeep Singh, Colin Spork, Lewis Bickers, Jack Mayer, and Terence Grech. That's how the Drivers' Championship stands, the top 10. And in terms of the Constructors, only 3 teams scored a double top 10 last time out, with those being Cenobite, 1st and 7th. They're currently 1st in the Constructors' Championship table. You also have Stax Racing, who are 3rd with 5th and 10th, and you had MDR, who are 5th with 8th and 9th, although they're separated by CM Tech, Wopke's team, who are currently sitting 2nd, thanks to the 2nd place from Dino Paolini, and 4th place is Zederic, thanks to the 3rd place from Dowie Tapper. So that's how the Constructors' Championship is at present. And heading into this round again, I think the team to watch is going to be Cenobite.
Yeah, but it's going to be really difficult for Colin Spork coming from 70. Well, it might be a little bit higher now, 16th, as I can see. He's going to be starting in 16th place, so it's going to be really difficult for Colin to repeat his 7th place. But you never know. Everything is possible in the race. Maybe he has a really good car set up for the race, and that might be quite a big difference between the teams as well. Like some people might have set up their car for a quick qualifying lap, but then in the race they will start to struggle, maybe because of tire wear, maybe because the car just doesn't feel right. So yeah, that's going to be an interesting one for the race. Will the order be the same or not?
So checkered flag comes out for the warm-up session. Incidentally, Liam Duval quickest in this as well, although again, no surprise there, and it doesn't actually end up mattering. Note from the race director, the fastest 10 drivers from qualifying must start on their qualifying tyre compound, and those outside the top 10 are allowed to start on any tyre. All drivers must use at least 2 of their 3 dry tyre compounds during the race, and all drivers have to take extra care in the opening few laps. All of that pretty much common sense, especially the first lap thing. But anyway, of course, needs to be reminded. Last time out at Melbourne, we had that major first lap pile up. So yeah, let's hope that nothing like that happens again.
Yeah, that would be nice. Of course, we can expect a lot better from these drivers driving in Superleague Lights. You'd hope they are a bit experienced, and as we move to the race session now, and yeah, we hope these drivers are able to make a clean start. We did see some incidents in the lower competitions, especially not at turn 1, but at turn 2, when the drivers try to filter their way through and yeah, get into position, but then sometimes you just get into an incident there, and because the corner is quite a difficult one to really take different lines in, that's usually the problem there. So we'll see if it is a clean start today. Let's hope so, at least.
So in terms of the order, Liam Duval will be starting from pole position in this 47-lap race, followed by Michael Francesconi. Then it's Jeffrey Fournier, Sebastian Kozmala, Adrian Faber, Dowie Tapper, Sandeep Singh, Giuseppe Saracino, Jack Mayer, Pedro Mora, Dino Paolini, who was 2nd in the championship starting from P11. Got a lot of ground to make up. Then it's Jason Muscat, Lewis Bickers, Terence Grech, Martin Rybachuk, Colin Spork, James Chuba, George Sutton, Konrad Zeribic, Heigo Poom, Matthew Klipp, Johan Lindberg, Thomas Vock, Mike Quint. Then it's Kaz Reitfeld, Roy Schroten, Ben Horrell, Pascal Schmidt, Danny Robbins, and rounding out the 30-car field, it's a full house today, will be Jukka-Pekka Laulu.
Yes, and today's winner is going to be decided by strategy. That's going to be my prediction for this race. I think it's going to be really important to keep the tires alive for long enough, because I think the one stop is going to be quicker, but we'll see. Maybe some drivers can surprise me with the 2-stop. That's going to be my prediction. The driver who can manage his tires the best is going to win this race, because I think pure pace difference is so small. Yeah, that's going to be my prediction. If the viewers as well, if you have any predictions, drop them in the chat now, and we can go through them as the drivers do their formation lap.
Indeed. I must say it's going to be hard to bet against Liam de Vries. He's led pretty much every session so far this season. He's certainly led every official session. But that's not to say that that roar is going to continue, as no one wins every single time. But anyway, Liam de Vries leading the field around as they come up to the final corner before the start of this 47-lap race. Drivers just warming their tyres up, preparing for the start. And this is where the heart rates rise, especially when they see the red lights coming on at the front of the grid. It's one of the most exciting times of a race weekend. And de Vries lines up on the left-hand side of the grid. One thing to notice, of course, is that often at the Bahrain International Circuit, it's actually P2 that leads into turn 1 because they have the inside line. Of course, P1, they have more grip off the start, being on the grippier side of the grid, but they are not on the ideal line into turn 1, or they are. But of course, if a car gets on the inside, then that really doesn't matter. Towards the back, just waiting for the last few drivers to get into position now. Wopke Lali will round out the grid. And when he stops in his box, the lighting sequence can begin. We have 5 red lights up on the gantry there at the front of the field, and de Vries will be watching it like a hawk, ready and waiting. And here they come, 3 red lights, 4, 5, and we are go for round 2 of GPVWC Super Cup Lights. De Vries covers across to try to hold off Francesconi, but Francesconi is still on the inside here. Now is his chance. Now is where he has to go for it, but de Vries holds it and has the inside for turn 2. Fantastic defense from de Vries. Very, very brave. Everyone making it through relatively cleanly. In fact, completely cleanly, as everyone still has their nose cone attached. That's always a good sign. Through turn 3, turn 4, and still some jostling in the mid-pack, but it's still de Vries leading from Francesconi out front, then Fournier and Faber. And Kosmala, a bit of a dive from Saracino there at the inside of Muscat, has to bail out of it. I was worried that there was going to be a slightly worse outcome to that. Now, here's the heaviest braking point so far. Paulini and Rybachuk coming together, and both somehow getting away with it just about. That was very, very close now. I think we had a spin for Tuber. No, we haven't. He's still running. Never mind. Ignore me. I think I just panicked some Tuber fans. But anyway, all very close there. Spork made a slight mistake. Very nearly got into the back of Zarubiec, but very, very good avoidance from him to break in time, even though he has lost a couple of positions. He's P18 as it stands. Kosmala now going for 4th. Kosmala on the outside of Adrian Faber, getting the switch back. Faber covers him off, but doesn't get a good run. And I reckon that Kosmala might go through here towards turn 1, Wopke.
Yeah, definitely. He's on the outside now, so that's a difficult line to keep it around. But it's definitely possible, and you'll have the good line for turn 2. But he isn't able to make it stick. But maybe he has another good run around this corner, although he does seem to have to suffer a bit from the dirty air. So maybe they'll keep status quo for now. But when the DRS opens next lap, it's going to be a really good fight. And as well at the front, Well, it does have a little bit of a gap to Francesconi, but it's still within a second. So
first contact down behind, and it's Roy Schroten with a couple of other drivers. I believe his teammate was involved in that as well, and it was just a case of 3 wide not working into turn 3 there. We did have a completely clean first lap, and it was Schroten, Lindberg, and Horrell that got into each other. So both of the Drake racing cars getting involved, although Schroten getting off worst of all of those, being the only one of the 3 to spin around.
Yes, and there was also a spin actually in the first lap already from Danny Robin. It was just a spin on his own in the at the end of the second sector in the quick right-hander. He had a spin and probably lost some tire life. The tires don't look too happy. And he's already back down to last as he almost spins again behind Roy Scott. So he is having some issues in last place now. But other than that, as you said, really clean start, and I'm really happy to see that because that just shows how good this field is. The quality of the drivers is amazing, and the DRS should be open now. And look at this, Francesconi behind the wall is actually really close, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's not over yet, is it? Francesconi right on the back of him, and de Waal not getting away just yet. Francesconi will be getting DRS soon. We're on lap 3 of the race. So I think it will open this time around. But anyway, Francesconi still following close to de Waal. This is a difficult part of the course to follow him in, and Geoffrey Fournier will also be getting DRS when it opens as well, because he is still sticking right with these two. So it's 3 for the lead as it stands. Now here comes a DRS zone. Open goes the rear wing of Francesconi and of Fournier. Now this isn't normally an overtaking opportunity. Normally you have to wait for the penultimate straight or the pit straight before you start making moves like that. But anyway, here we go.
Yeah, this middle DRS straight is mainly meant for the drivers to be able to get closer to each other, and then, as you said, to overtake each other on the main straight or in the after turns 1 and 2. Then you can also take the DRS there and try an overtaking move. You can only really try it in the middle sector if you the other driver makes a small mistake. But now look at Fournier. He's going to be really close to the back of Francesconi, and he's going to try it for second. But at the same time, Francesconi still has the
and they're going, oh my goodness, they're right on top of de Waal. Up the inside goes Francesconi, and they almost went 3 wide. Somehow they managed to keep the positions there, although that could not have been much closer up into turn 1.
Yes, and this is just so early in the race, and this is going to be a real treat for us, I think, because these 3 drivers are really going to go at. And look at this, Fournier is going to try to look on the inside of Francesconi now into this section. No, don't do it, because that's going to be ending in tears, and he doesn't try it because he is a sensible man at the moment, Fournier.
This is fantastic racing for the lead on only lap 4 of the Superleague Lights race. Down towards turns 9 and 10 we go.
Yes, and look at this as well, behind.
DRS straight, yeah, we've got battling still going on behind as well. It's a long chain of cars, and now Adrian Faber will be getting slipstream from the leading 3 as well. We have a proper chain for the lead here. It's almost 8 for the lead.
Yeah, it's insane, and the more they fight, the more people are going to be catching up to this train as well. Because even, I think pretty much everyone in the points up to P14. So Terence Gregg has a bit of a gap to Lewis Bickers between 14 and 15. But other than that, they all seem to have DRS from each other. So the top 14 is all taking each other's DRS.
And here we go again. We've got Kosmala to the inside of Faber. This is for 4th place, but also 2nd place is now going at it as well. We're going 3 wide for the lead. We are! Yes! And up the inside, we've got Fournier, and Francesconi takes the lead. Francesconi takes the lead. De Waal keeps 2nd. Fournier, despite being on the inside of all of them, loses out, stays in 3rd position. Faber is 4th, Tapper is 5th, Kosmala drops to 6th, and that's because he went off. Kosmala's been through the gravel, so Tapper is now up into 5th position with Kosmala down to 6th. This is dramatic racing on the 5th lap here at Bahrain. Francesconi now leads, and he is the first driver to lead the race in net positions to not be called Liam de Waal this season. Here we go again towards the 3 straights that end the lap. And we'll see what Liam de Waal can do about getting back at Francesconi. First retirement, Thomas Vach is out of the race, sadly. I'll give you an update on how that happened in a bit, but I'm still watching this battle for the lead of the race because it could not be much closer. Another DRS zone coming up soon, and still we are fighting for the lead. With Francesconi, de Waal, Fournier, Faber, Tapper, Kosmala, Meyer. Any of those drivers could take the lead anytime soon. This is fantastic. Through the final corner we go. Now this is where it all kicked off. Last lap and the lap before. Fournier tends to get a good exit to this corner. Watch as Francesconi tries to break the toe, and everyone behind him snakes across the track to try to get the toe. De Waal getting closer, but not close enough. And look at Fournier. Well, that was a proper look there. And I think he was just trying to show himself to the mirrors of de Waal, trying to make de Waal maybe run wide in fear of being taken off. But anyway, they all stay in the same position somehow. Francesconi, followed by de Waal, Fournier, Faber, and Tapper.
Yes, and to come back on the incident, I just watched the replay. It was also on stream now, and Wopke forced a little bit wide by I think it was Colin Spork, and after that he rejoined the track because he went over the bump. Chuba had to take evasive action, and he spun, and both Wopke and Chuba went off. Chuba's still driving, but without any wings on his car, and he is just making his way to the pits now. But I guess his race is going to be over as well. He's not going to be able to score any points, I'm afraid.
Max1 having a torrid season so far. Yeah, Chuba now in the pits. But anyway, I wouldn't be surprised if this ends up being another double DNF for Mars1. No disrespect to Robbins, although he's also really struggling here. Anyway, back to the fight for the lead. We still have 3 cars separated by less than a second, and the DRS train goes back to 5th here through the final corner. And again, this is the attack zone. This is the hunting ground, the main straight. Opening the DRS are de Waal and Fournier and Faber and Tapper. And de Waal getting closer again to Francesconi. Can he do anything into turn 1? Not quite. Probably could have done, although deciding that discretion's the better part of valor. Jack Mayer making a move on Kosmala and through as well on the inside. Ooh, and they lock wheels. That's Sandeep Singh locking wheels with him, and Saracino now locking wheels as well. Saracino takes a trip through the gravel. And now where's Mayer gone? I think Mayer... Oh, he's 6th. Okay, so Mayer got through better than I expected. Kosmala tangling wheels slightly with Rybacik. Muscat getting involved as well. This is going to end in tears, surely. Muscat gets slightly sideways. Oh, and he's still there. Yeah, they lock wheels again. That was very brave from Muscat. And somehow Rybacik... Oh, and he's gone into the back of him. And I don't understand how Rybacik hasn't spun around yet, because Muscat's been beating him black and blue. But anyway, still in the same positions. Now, more DRS for the leaders. And this is de Waal going for it, is he? He's going to the... No, well, there wasn't any room there. He took a look to the outside of the S's, and I thought it would have been ambitious to go around the outside there. But it's definitely possible if you can keep it on the inside for the second apex. Oh, look at that. This is a proper train.
Yeah, the top 5 is really up each other's bumps right now, and we're going to be heading towards the straight again. This is surely going to be an overtake now. He's already looking into the last corner, so...
May have compromised his exit with that. He may have done, although he'll still get DRS. Look how aggressively Francesconi pulls over to defend. And are we going to go three for the lead again? We are. We're going 3 wide for the second time in the race. Through they both go. De Waal on the outside, Fournier on the inside, and it might be a double overtake for Fournier. It is. That's the best overtake I have ever seen in Superleague Lights. Fournier, with utter commitment, up the inside of Liam de Waal, takes the lead. Adrian Faber's up to 3rd, and Francesconi goes from 1st to 4th in just 1 corner.
Yeah, poor Francesconi, I'd say. And yeah, Faber with a really late braking move managed to put it on the inside of Francesconi as well. So he went up to 3rd, and he's now on the podium. And that's a really respectable place for him to be in as well. And as you said, great move by Fournier. I was really surprised that he was able to take both of them at the same time. And yeah, great move. And we'll see if he is going to be able to pull away now a little bit. But with the DRS, it's going to be difficult, because the DRS seems to be really effective for these guys at the moment.
Absolutely fantastic racing. I've been saying that so much, but it really is. This is going to go down in history as one of the top battles from the early days of Superleague Lights. This is only the 2nd series of Superleague Lights, but boy is it delivering. Here we go again towards the DRS zone. De Waal much closer to Fournier than Faber is to either of them. It's still definitely not over for de Waal. Also, what can Francesconi do about getting back at the podium places? We're about to find out. I don't think there's going to be a change for the lead this time around. Faber pulling over in defense of his 3rd place. And he's going to run maybe... No, he doesn't run wide. That was well judged from Faber. It's often difficult to judge where to brake because sometimes it can change with turbulent air with DRS. Here comes Francesconi, makes the dummy, good, committed dive to the inside. They rub wheels, they bang wheels, they lock wheels, and Francesconi doesn't hold on. They're going to lock wheels again, and Francesconi's going to spin, and that's a big shame because he's been fighting for the... Oh, and he's in the gravel. Francesconi there, he was fighting for the lead for a long time, and I knew that there was a high chance it would end in tears there. Well, okay, how would you call that?
Yeah, a bit silly, I guess, from both of the drivers. Like, one of them should have given up there. I feel like that corner isn't meant for overtaking. I've tried it myself, and it didn't end well either, so... Usually one of the drivers just gave up, and then this case both of them didn't want to give up, and yeah, I guess that's really unfortunate and maybe a little bit silly in the early stages of the race as well. You want to save your tires mainly and not do stuff like this, but that does mean that the top two now is away from the rest.
The thing is, Francesconi really lent on Faber, and then Faber lent on Francesconi and turned straight on him, so really... we'll leave it to the stewards to see how they judge that, although it may well end up being a racing incident. That might well be what I would have judged it, but again, I am not the race steward. Down again towards turn 1. Look how close that is for third. Dowie Tapper trying to get third. Of course, he finished third last time out, and now Jack Mayer's going to get the run out of the corner, gets the DRS, and this might be a move from Jack Mayer. He's got the outside line. That's a difficult place to pull it. And Tapper keeps it just about there, but yeah, these three, of course, have been brought together by that incident with Francesconi. Faber was much further up the road before that, and now he's being hunted like a pack of wolves by Tapper, by Mir, by Singh, Saracino, Kosmala, Ribicic, Muscat, et al.
Yeah, and I wonder if Faber has any damage from that incident, because he did get touched by Francesconi before as well, in the corner before. And from what I've seen, these cars are pretty sensitive on the damage, so he might have some small issues with the car, maybe just a little bit of imbalance in the car, and that can really unsettle you already if you're unlucky. But yeah, at the front, we're heading towards straight again, and Liam Doal is still in the slipstream of Geoffrey Fournier, so... they're on the straight now, and we're going to see if he's going to be able to pull an overtake. The gap, meanwhile, to the back, to third place, is 4 seconds now from Liam Doal to Adrian Faber. So, yeah, I think these two are gone now.
That's fantastic. Also, someone in the chat there, Chris Shepard, pointing out that one of the best Super League battles in history as well also involved Fournier when he took his maiden Super League victory. I think it was his maiden victory anyway, at Australia in 2018. So Fournier just loves to get involved in these great battles and pull fantastic moves as well. He's French. He likes to overtake. He's Fournier.
Yes, he's very good at overtaking. I've had the pleasure of racing him a lot of times, and yeah, Fournier really knows where to place the car if he's going to be able to make the move stick. So he just showed that again in Superleague Lights now, and he's leading the race at the moment. And we still have a big train behind Adrian Faber. From him up to, I think that is Lewis Bickers in 14th place. They're all in the DRS of each other, so... yeah, this battle is not over yet. From P3 to P14, 12 cars involved, so we'll see how that ends. Especially, I think, when the pit stops start to come, which is not yet, hopefully, for the drivers, because we're only on lap 10, at the end of lap 10, and that would be a little bit early in my opinion, but then we're going to see a massive difference between these guys, and we're going to see the order all shaken up, because they're going to be pitting on different laps, and the undercut might be... really valuable here.
So, drivers who are on the harder compound of tyre, or a harder compound than the reds, which are what we see most drivers on. Pedro Mora in 12th, Terence Grech, then Lewis Bickers, Conrad Ribiec, who is just being passed there by Michael Francesconi on a recovery drive. Francesconi makes that stick for P15. Then Ben Horrell, Matthew Klipp, Heigo Pum is on the whites, which is actually the hardest compound of tyre that they have here. And we're now going side by side again for third. Sorry, I missed that. As Tapper got alongside Faber on the outside and then lost out and almost allowed Jack Mayer through as well. That was very, very close. They're going to have to back out of that for a little bit. But anyway, yeah, that got very close for third there. So now we're back onto another DRS straight. Faber followed by Tapper and Mayer. This is, well, Tapper, of course, as we said, finished third last time out. This is the closest Mayer's been to scoring a podium so far this year, and he's going to really want to capitalise on the opportunity. Also, Faber, he only finished 11th last time out as well.
As he makes a
will
mistake.
as well, as Faber does make a slight mistake, runs slightly wide, and Tapper will be close. Tapper's going to go through here as he is on the inside. Oh, backs off surprisingly early. That was surprisingly early. Probably could have outbraked him there if he hadn't.
But I think he wants to have the DRS on this straight because otherwise he knows.
True.
Pass him again. So I think that happened last 2 laps ago. I think that happened as well.
Oh,
that
my
was
word!
Really close.
Yeah, pulled over a little bit too soon there, made contact with him, although made the move stick. Oh, and they come together, and Tapper is pointing backwards, and he's going to crash again with Faber. Multiple instances of contact there. Faber now drops back into the pack. Tapper drops even further. Disaster there. That gives Jack Mayer third place. Rybachuk's going to get hit as well. Muscat, Faber, they're all coming together. Somehow they're all making it through there. That's for 8th position. And Muscat again goes into the back of Faber. Muscat's front wing, I'm surprised it's still attached. He's been into the back of so many people today. And they've got Dino Paolini making contact with Mora right behind them as well. They both get through okay. Goodness me. But yeah, there was a little bit of an overlap between the wheels of Faber and of course of the driver. He was racing, Dawi Tapper, and they ended up spinning around.
Yeah, unfortunately for Tapper now in 17th position. It still has a little bit of a contact with the group ahead. So it's like time-wise, it's not too bad. But he has lost so many positions because everyone's so close. And now, as you said, Jack Mayer up into 3rd position. So he will be laughing now, actually, I think.
Yeah, and I tell you what, that was just Mayer losing control of the car while alongside Dawi Tapper. No fault of Tapper's at all. It was just a loss of control from Adrian Faber, and that's pretty disappointing for Tapper. But anyway, Muscat now getting past Faber. Faber's race going from bad to worse, and manages to keep it under control this time around. Bickers side by side with Greg, and they get through cleanly. Greg up into 12th position ahead of Lewis Bickers there. But anyway, de Vries right on top of Fournier again. They got very close through the last sector. Closer than they've been for a while, so still the battle for the lead is on and not dying down anytime soon.
Actually, I saw something pretty interesting there. De Vries closed his DRS early on the main straight, so I think he's just sitting behind and waiting for a really good opportunity, and at the same time just trying to really just take Geoffrey Fournier's pace and let them coast away together, because the gap behind is just increasing and increasing. It's 8 seconds now to Jack Mayer. Yeah, as long as they keep this up, they're going to be in for an easy battle at the end for P1 and P2, and they can take some smaller... Oh, as I hear crashing sounds, that's Dino Paolini's round.
And that's second in the championship. Dino Paolini thought he would be a championship contender after the first round, but he's lost it. And looking back at the replay, that's simply what happened. He lost it all by himself, and he was collected by... that's Terence Grech. Now, does Grech have damage? I'm not sure about it. There was also a little bit of contact behind him as well. But yeah, that's heavy damage for Dino Paolini. And that is going to have championship implications. And that is going to ruin Dino's race.
Yes, and Sarah Beach as well. Like, I think Greg hit the front wing. And then Sarah Beach ran into the back of Paolini as well. That's why he lost his rear wing, and Sarah Beach lost his front wing, unfortunately for him. And he's out of the race, so he's second retirement. And this is a bad race for CM Tech. As Wopke already retired, and Paolini now in the pits for a long time because these repairs.
So that means that, Saracino's just taken third from Mayer. So Giuseppe Saracino up into third place. Was running in that position, and I'm going to have a look back to see exactly what happened there. It looks to me as if it happened down into turn 1. Yeah, it was just a classic case of slipstream and through. So Giuseppe Saracino up into to third place. Where did he finish last time out? He actually didn't finish. So this will be Giuseppe Saracino's first finish of the series if he can keep it under control. And what a finish it would be with third place.
Yes, that would be really nice. And he seems to be pulling away a little
And
bit
here
from
comes
Jack.
Deval, oh, never mind. Well, he took a look for the lead. Although I think, yeah, he didn't, well, probably could have been more committed if he was going to go for it. I'm not sure he's entirely pushing for it now. He may just be sitting behind Fournier to try to gauge what he's going to do in terms of the strategy and just not make any silly moves. Sorry for cutting you off, Wopke.
Yeah, no problem. Action for the lead is always a priority, of course. And we saw just a little bit of a fight as well for P9, Adrian Faber and Pedro Mora. And Mora unfortunately didn't get past, as I hear crashing sound again. And it's Lindbergh and Oriel.
Horrell
Yeah.
is off with Lindbergh. So Horrell went to the inside, went over the white line and off the road trying to pass Lindbergh, and then came straight back across. And I'm afraid they've both collided and beat into the barrier. They've both lost their wings, and they're both out of the race. So that's the end of the day for both Horrell and Lindbergh, I'm afraid.
Yes, and like this, people like Juba and Paulini, if they keep this, then these people, even though they have had damage as well, extra pit stops, might still be profiting and getting slower.
And we think Dino Paolini has a penalty. He does indeed. Now, that may well be that maybe he can get it slowed in time for the pits, or maybe the game automatically gave him a penalty for the accident. I don't know, but anyway, he's serving it. So Dino Paolini into the pits. I'm kind of worried this might be him retiring. No, I don't. Oh, it is. Yeah, that's him retiring. So that is race over for Dino Paolini, I'm afraid. And that is a big, big shame for the driver who finished second last time out. And yeah, that's it over. And my commiserations as well to Wopke, who is CM Tech team manager.
Yes, double DNF for the team, unfortunately. And even if I wasn't the team manager, of course, no team manager would be happy with that. That's really a shame after a good start, especially for Paulini in second place last time out, as you said. And yeah, let's hope they can come back stronger for the next round. But there's luckily enough action still going on around the track. Actually, I wanted to talk a little bit about Colin Sport because he's still in 15th place. And I'm actually, yeah, a bit like not really disappointed, but maybe a bit surprised that he's still only down there. I expected a little bit more from him. Pace-wise, especially seeing where Liam was and the way he drove in Australia. So yeah, he's not able to really do it at the moment, but he still has 1 point. So at the moment, so still not too bad.
So anyway, now we're heading. Oh wow, Deval closer than he's been for a long time now. Heading down the pit straight. I'd be surprised if he didn't try something here. DRS opens. Yeah, he's going to go for it. Deval to the inside of Jeffrey Fournier for the lead of the race. And through he goes. Liam Deval takes the lead back. Now, what can Fournier do about it? Into the braking zone, nothing. Deval leads. Now, look at, into the pits. Singh and Rybachuk. So, Singh and Rybachuk both in. These are the first of these scheduled stops. And I reckon they can go to the end from here. It's going to be difficult because they've done 17 laps and they've got 30 to go. I think it's possible. It depends what tyre they go onto. But anyway.
Faber is into the pits as well, as is Royce Floten, and last lap as well. And
Yes.
Danny Robbins went to the pits, so
now Rybachuk's gone on to the hard tyres, so I think he may be trying to go to the end. Faber on softs, and Schroten also on hard, so Schroten's going to the end, I think. Faber might not be, to be honest.
Yeah, that's going to be a really tight one, especially if you're already pitting now, because your tires have... Of course, he did have a spin, so maybe that's why the tires had a bit more wear than he expected, but we'll see how it goes. And the other drivers are still going around on the soft tires as well, some people, so like the top two as well. And we'll see when they are going to come in. It can't be much longer now, I guess, for these drivers.
Interesting time for De Vries to go through, because now he's actually starting to pull away. He gets a second ahead, and if he knew he could do that, I'm surprised he didn't go for anything earlier. I think he could have done, but anyway. And now Fournier pits. So Fournier comes in, and that's a good time to do it. Right as you've been passed, right as you've maximized the advantage gained by holding up your opponent, and you're losing it in the turbulent air. He pits. He goes on to soft tires. This may well be medium tires. This may well be a double stop from Fournier. We'll have to see how it pans out. Saracino also in, Mayo also in, as is Tapper and Spork. So some big names coming into the pits at the end of this lap. Terence Grech passes Lewis Bickers going past on the main straight. They're being hounded by Francesconi's recovery drive. And there appears to be a mix of drivers going onto hard tires and going onto mediums.
Yes, it's Colin Spork, for example, going into the mediums or the
That's the
it's the
hard,
hards
yeah.
actually. Sorry, I'm still getting them confused every
It's
time.
okay.
And I expect his teammate in the lead, Liam de Waal, to come in as well now because he needs to cover for Fournier. However, maybe he is not going to do it because Fournier might be running into traffic after a few laps, and if he is able to keep the tires healthy for long enough, then he might be able to get a small advantage from that. But I personally wouldn't risk it, so I expect him to be into the pits right now. And I think even the drivers going onto the medium tires, the yellow tires, they can make it to the end, but they will need to preserve the tire a little bit more than the others. So yeah, that's going to be an interesting one.
Well, if they were going to the end, I'd be surprised because they're gonna have to run about double the length that they ran on the super softs, which doesn't tend to happen. And if they could do that, I would expect them to have run the super softs a bit longer. But anyway, because they are the fastest tire. But anyway, De Waal and Kosmala both in. We expected De Waal to be in. Kosmala is also making his stop. De Waal is on mediums. Kosmala is going on to probably mediums as well. Francesconi is in. Kosmala indeed on the mediums. And De Waal comes out still ahead of Fournier. Although it's close, I reckon that's within a second there. I reckon it's probably about a second, so the gap doesn't really come out or come down. And Fournier now needs to make sure that he stays in the DRS. They're both on the same tyre, and I expect they might both pit again. I'm not certain of that, so don't quote me on it, but they might well. Fournier just a tenth of a second away from getting DRS, needs to close in.
And only one driver still out on softs, I think, and that's Jason Muscat in the lead right now. And we have some other drivers on the mediums who started on the medium. So yeah, you can see the softs have had their best times now, and I expect that Muscat's going to be coming in soon as well. As you said, it's going to be a tough choice for the drivers now. Will they preserve their medium tires until the end, or will they push them and make an extra stop? Because an extra stop might cost you a lot of time, but if you're able to push the tires just that little bit more, then I think that could still give you the edge in the end. But we're going to see how the drivers are going to do it.
Jason Muscat now pits, so we often see Muscat running long on the tyres. He, of course, is another driver who was running well here last year in Super Cup, and he goes on to the medium tyres. So Muscat on mediums, exits the pit, and we'll see where he comes out in relation to his rivals. De Waal and Fournier have already gone through, and De Waal actually appears to be extending his advantage over Fournier slightly. That may end up being for nothing if they encounter Terence Grech, who's only just up the road from them. Ooh, Muscat getting into the side there of Martin Ribachuk. They're gonna bang wheels again there coming out of the pits. That could have been pretty disastrous. And now slots in behind him. Not sure why Ribachuk didn't just let him go there, because he's not on the same strategy. But anyway, wasn't obliged to, and they managed to make it through nonetheless. Ribachuk very nearly losing it again. Muscat looking this way and that. Grech, meanwhile, in the slipstream from Bickers as well, and this is an important fight because they started on a slightly different strategy to the other front runners, and will of course, expect them to be more involved in the leading fight towards the end of the race. So it is for position, and that's one that I'm also keeping a close eye on.
Yes, that's definitely worth keeping an eye on. I think the Waal is pulling away just ever so slightly from Fournier. So if these two are on the same strategy, that's probably going to be the deal done for the Waal if he keeps it up like this. But the race is still long. We're not even halfway through, so a lot could happen still. And the Waal's now just about to catch up to Terence Gregg in third place, who doesn't have to let him pass because they are on the same lap. And although they're on different strategies, Greg may put up a good fight if he wants to.
Both of these leaders, of course, Fournier and de Waal, are Super League podium finishers. Fournier is a Super League winner, of course. He won in Australia in 2018, and I think he's got one win since then as well. I have a feeling it was at Silverstone, but anyway, I may be getting that completely and utterly wrong. Terence Gregg has driven in Super League, I think. I don't think he scored a podium, but anyway, de Waal is going to clear him with DRS here before they even reach the S's. There we go. Gregg not putting up too much of a fight. He knows they're not in the same race, to be honest, and now he may have to do the same for Fournier. Of course, he doesn't have to get out of the way, but as soon as one of these drivers gets alongside with you, you don't really want to put up too much of a fight because it's only going to cost you time and potentially damage your car as well.
Yes, unless of course your teammate is involved, then it might be a different story.
Oh,
But in this
of
case,
course.
that's not the case. So as you said, yeah, it's better to just let them go. Yeah, it's just gonna cost your own race in the end because you might be blocking someone else and ruining their race, but you're ruining your own race at the same time as well. So it's definitely not worth it. And the Waal is now gonna try up the inside of Bickers. Bickers
Yeah,
doesn't put up a fight.
and Fournier goes past Gregg at the same time, so that was a very clean couple of corners there for the leaders. They've made up a couple of places. Now we've got Saracino on clip further back, and this is interesting because that is for position. And Saracino going to run slightly wide. Oh, he's going to spin. Well, big slide, good save, great save from Saracino, but he does lose those places. So Saracino now behind Clip, Poom, and Mayer. But to be honest, did very well to keep it out of the wall there. That was a Max Verstappen style save. But anyway, back into the race he goes. Almost lost a place to Sandeep Singh, didn't quite. And still he's clear. Now we've got Fournier right in the back of Bickers. They're not in the same, they're not really racing for position. They are on the road, although anyway, Fournier probably should clear Bickers relatively easily. He's going to open the DRS here. And I would be surprised if he's still behind him in 2 corners time. With no disrespect to Bickers, he's just not on the quicker tyre here. It's older, it's colder, and it's harder as well. But anyway, here goes Fournier up the inside, and that is going to be a relatively easy move, I feel. Fournier up into 3rd on the road. Now, de Waal is just about to take the lead here. Sorry?
For P7, there's a big train, of course, and I think P7 and 8, Clip and Poom are on a different strategy from the others. So, like for example here, Jack Mayer getting through.
Mayer carving through the middle of the 2 of them there, and just about not passing Clip, but it got very, very close. That was some good battling there between the chain. Poom now taking a look to the outside of Mayer again. Ooh, Mayer tagging the back of Clip's car, or I should say clipping it. But anyway,
Nice.
down through the S's they go. Ooh, Francesconi and Tapper are going to make contact again. Oh wait, no, that's Tapper and Quint. As Sting and Poom getting close. Poom almost losing control there. And Singh getting through into 10th place on softer tyres. Makes it stick. Poom getting a little bit sideways, losing out there. And that's to be expected on those harder tyres. I expect it'll probably be more of a challenge later on in the race, maybe right towards the end, but we'll see. It all depends on what position he's running in at the time and how much stamina he's conserved. Meanwhile, I think the most likely position to change this lap. Oh yeah, here goes the leaders. It's Liam de Vries going to the inside of Pedro Mora. This maybe position on the road, but it's going to be relatively simple for de Vries. De Vries retakes the lead of the race. Geoffrey Fournier will probably come through in due time. Mora still yet to make his pit stop, of course.
Yeah, and this is good for the well because now he's able to pull a little bit of a gap to Fournier again, hopefully for him. He's still not within a second of the well last time around, so I think he's done enough to keep him out of the DRS because that could be fatal.
Clip lost 2 places there. Mayer's gone through, as has Saracino, and now Singh might be going through as well. He's on the inside. Yeah, that's gonna work there. So Clip losing places. That's interesting.
Yeah, Clip hasn't yet fit, so he's on all the tires as well.
Oh, that's true. That's true. I forgot that these drivers had pitted, so that would make a lot of sense there. It would also make sense as to why they're all in a chain in the first place. Fournier now passing Mora. That's clean. That is done and dusted. Now, how much time has he lost to de Vries in all of that? We'll see. Next time they cross a checkpoint, a split time, it's 1.6 seconds between them. So not quite DRS range, but not quite game over yet either.
And I think effectively Mayer, Sorrentino, and Singh are fighting for third place. So because all the drivers in front, Mora, Bickers, Gretsch, and Lalu still have to pit. So these drivers are fighting for third place. And Sorrentino, when he almost spun, but saved the car, he did lose one position to Jack Mayer. So he effectively lost the podium there for now. But he's still in the DRS, and Mayer is almost weaving across the track on the straight to keep him out of that slipstream. So this is a fight we can keep an eye on as well.
Yeah, there goes Kosmala passing Clip, and also Jason Muscat might get Hygo Poom. He does, dives to the inside, through he goes. Michael Francesconi passing Adrian Faber. I think those two are the two that came together earlier while fighting for third. Yes, they are. But Francesconi now demoting his rival, who he may have some bitter feelings towards, I'm not sure. But anyway, they get through cleanly, which is always good to see. No red mist descending. Not that I'm suggesting Francesconi would do that, or Faber for that matter, but anyway. And now I look back to that chain of cars, 7th all the way down to P15 or 16 that, as you say, could end up being the battle for third. Mayer really trying to break that toe, break the slipstream chain, and who can blame him? No one wants other cars gaining from you like a wind block, like a parasite. But anyway.
All these aggressive moves do take up a little bit of extra meters, so he's losing time by doing that. Yeah, he needs to be careful with that. But this is a good run for Saracino, I think, out of last corner, although he does take the curb a bit too much, maybe.
Yeah, here we go. Saracino with the DRS. He's going to be too far back this time around. Although, again, he's just trying to line him up and get closer.
Saracino seems so effective on the brakes in to turn 1.
Yeah, Muscat gets past Glip and all of that as well on the fresh tyres. Rybachuk as well. So those are a few changes. Muscat may be about to pass Rybachuk. He's on softer tyres, and he touches him in the rear. Muscat seeming very fond of people's rear ends today, but anyway, hasn't spun anyone yet, so can't be too harsh on him. Muscat is a very good driver. He knows what he's doing. He is last year's Super Cup champion, of course. Got elevated up to Superleague Lights. I personally think that he's probably good enough for Super League. He could probably challenge for the top positions in Super League, although he doesn't really tend to like driving in Super League when he can avoid it. Whatever the case, Muscat now running in P12 in this race.
And Muscat indeed does have quite a bit of Super League experience actually, but not really that much as a main driver. I think maybe back in the days, and then I'm talking like 8 years ago, then he was driving in Super League a bit more.
Back in my day. Anyway, into the pits comes Jaka Pekalali, so that's one of the one of the long-running, medium-tired drivers out of
Look
the
at
way.
this, Jason Muscat.
Oh yes,
Again.
and Saracino going around the outside of Mayer. Saracino's made it stick, and that was close. They almost rubbed wheels. I'm not sure they actually did, despite how close they got. No, they did rub wheels slightly, but Mayer coming back to now on the outside, and finds traction. He finds traction out there. Oh, and they come together, and I have no idea how Mayer didn't get spat off towards the scenery, but he holds third place there. That was aggressive defense from Mayer. And Saracino's lost it. Saracino loses it, and he's so lucky he didn't come together with other cars there. He's now pointing backwards in the gravel and returning to the road, but he's lost a heck of a lot of time. May lose a place to Colin Spork in this as well, and that was just Saracino braking a little bit too heavily, trying to gain that advantage on Jack Mayer. I think he noticed that he was going to plow into the back of Mayer and had to sacrifice himself to avoid making contact, and that is just a big shame for Saracino, I'm afraid.
Yes, but well done for him to keep it out of other cars. So it's just his own race. Of course, still not very nice, but yeah, at least he didn't ruin other people's races as well. And that's really good evasive action as Pedro Moura now is in the pits as well. Yeah, he finally pits and he goes onto the red tires, I suppose, because he's... Yes, indeed, he does go to the red tires. And where does he come out? Does he come into the points? That's going to be interesting because he, in my opinion, seemed pretty quick on the yellow wall tires, and
he has 19 laps to go, so I reckon he can run to the end here on the super, or the soft. Sorry, we've seen drivers running 17 laps on the soft, so I don't see why they can't run at 19. But anyway, out and back into the action he goes.
And I think the other way around as well. Moura started on the yellow wall tires, and he did 28 laps on them. So
that's true.
I think people like the ball and Fournier could be going to the end on the yellow tires as well.
That is true, actually. Good spot there. And to be honest, in that case, I'm not sure anyone here is going for a two-stop. Sorry, I think it might be one-stoppers all around.
Yeah, I think these drivers know probably how to conserve the tires, like how to minimize the wear they have, and yeah, they also know that the pit stops are going to be costing way too much time, especially with all the traffic and how close and competitive the field is. As you can see, it's really difficult to get past people, especially when they're at similar pace as you. So track position is key here, and Vickers comes into the pits now after 29 laps on the yellow tires.
Indeed, so Lewis Bickers into the pit. He's going to lose a lot of time, but of course it's a necessary evil since he has to change tyres as per the rules. But anyway, stops. Oh, he's overshot his box. He's overshot it. That's going to cost him about a second. And he switches onto to soft tyres. Now he gets on the way. Now he sends it back onto the circuit, as it says #send it on his rear wing. Although he's now down in P16. And Muscat passes Kosmala, so Muscat has got past Kosmala into to P6 there. That could end up being the... Actually, is anyone... I think Terence Grach is still to stop, unless I am very much mistaken.
I believe you're correct. Terence Grach didn't pit yet, so I expect him to be in the pit stops, in the pits as well soon. And that would promote probably Jack Mayer up to third again, where he wasn't in third before the pit stops, but he was in fourth place. But Saracino, of course, has dropped positions after that mistake he made just earlier. And once again,
that means that fight between Muscat and Kosmala was the battle for P5. Effectively, of course, as Grach is still yet to stop. The gap to the lead now are to almost 2.4 seconds as Grach pits now. So I think that Deval has some breathing space at this point of view, and Fournier's best chance of winning is to conserve his tyres well and hope that Deval's go off towards the end of the race. Terence Grach will probably switch onto the soft tires, as indeed he does, as we know that they can run to the end. That puts Jack Mayer up now into third place. Reepichuk's losing places. He's run wide there on the hard tire. and he's been passed by Francesconi. Well, the reason he ran wide is because Francesconi was up his inside, so there wasn't much else he could do there. Francesconi through into 7th place, Rybacik down to 8th as it stands.
Yeah, but now I think now every pit stop is sorted, so now we have the order as it was again, and we can really see what's going to be happening as we see a fight for P15. Bickers and Greg. Greg just coming out of the pits and fighting against Bickers already. And this is for the final point, so really important position as well. If you want to score a point, of course, that's better than none.
So after the pit stages, it's de Vries leading from Fournier, Mayer, Singh, Muscat, Kosmala, Francesconi, Rybacik, Tapper, Faber, Mora, Poom, Saracino, Spork, Grech, Bickers, Lalu, Schroten, Clip, Quint, Sutton, Reitfeld, Schmidt, Robbins, and Zuber. And that is how the remaining drivers are running in this race. 25 of the 30 drivers who started are still running in this race. And one driver I'm interested in here is Pedro Mora, as he is the highest placed of the drivers on the soft tyre. I'm wondering what he can do in the late stages. Of course, the disadvantage of running the softs late, as he's about to pass Faber here, is that he has to do exactly this. He has to pass drivers on the road rather than jumping them in the pits, and that can cost plenty of time. Saracino, meanwhile, passing Poom behind as well. So Mora up into the top 10 now. I wouldn't be surprised, since he's only about 6 seconds off P5, I wouldn't be surprised if towards the end of the race he's challenging for the real pointy end, maybe the top 5 positions.
Yeah, fair point indeed, and he's looking very good, very fast at the moment. So that's going to be an interesting one to watch throughout this race. As you said, and it might be a good choice as well to start on a harder compound if you're able to keep up with everyone in front, because in the beginning of the race,
That's
of
true.
course, they will be fighting a lot. So if you're able to keep in the DRS range, and I think he did that for a very long time, so that's why he has the advantage now, because he managed to stay close to the other guys during their stints as well in the first stint. So yeah, right now he can really pick them all up, because he didn't lose that much time on the yellow compound, and the other guys are losing much more time because they don't have the DRS to drag each other along.
So now out and towards the pit straight heads the field. We have a chain of cars, a DRS chain. Singh is giving DRS to Muscat, who himself is giving DRS to Kosmala, and Francesconi is in that chain as well. That is 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th. Igo Poom now making a stop. Now he ran long, of course, on the hard tyres, so this is his only pit stop of the race. He's going to drop outside of the points paying positions, meaning that the final point is now held by Lewis Bickers, and James Zuber's just retired. So we've had our 7th DNF, I think, and he's had an accident. So that was Zuber losing control up through the S's and spinning into the barrier. So that's the end of the day for James Zuber there. And our 6th retirement, not 7th. We still have 24 out of 30 remaining. First one in a while. The previous one, of course, was the accident with Horrell and Lindbergh. But anyway, so the race continues. Singh. Oh, Muscat running wide. So, oh no, that was Singh. Sorry, Singh has run wide. Muscat might well get a chance to get up into P4 here, and this could be important as well, as towards the end of the race they may come under attack from drivers on softer tyres if those drivers on softer tyres don't hit the tyre cliff. But anyway, here comes Muscat now on the back of Singh, and he's going to the outside line. And if he can hold it there, he will be on the inside for turn 2. Singh loses it, and Muscat is going to go through because Singh is off the road, and through goes Kosmala as well.
Yes, and Francesconi right on the spec as well, but Kosmala is also on the back of Muscat now around the outside here.
Oh, good racing from Kosmala. He may gain 2 positions in pretty much as many corners. That's close. And Muscat, oh my word! Muscat Well, I'd have backed out of that if I was Jason there, but he didn't, and he's still alongside him now. And are they going to bang wheels again on the exit? No, not quite. But yeah, that was very close, and a great bit of driving from Kosmala to get up into third place. Oh, look at that! Muscat getting really sandwiched as he touches the car with his front and rear wing in all that. And now he will be with Kosmala again as they head onto the back straight. All three of these drivers on the same tyre compound of roughly the same age as well, I think. And having a ding-dong scrap, as Jake Sanson would put it, or a ding-dong battle. Now we go down the penultimate straight towards the final corner of the lap. Still plenty of laps remaining. Not even 3/4 of the way through yet, but yeah, Muscat with the DRS now.
And now Kosmala is the one in front, and Jack Mayer, he's pulled out, I think, like nearly 2 seconds in just this lap because of that battle. So that's
Here
really
comes
good.
Muscat. Muscat ran the outside, and Kosmala keeps it. So good defense from Kosmala.
Did get past for 6, so
Francesconi up into 6th, Saracino up into 11th as well. So a couple of changes of position, as we're to be expecting with Kaz in a chain like this. Look at that, Kosmala getting a little bit out of shape. Muscat right with him. Francesconi is Muscat's teammate. He's right behind all of this as well. Then we've got Singh, Rybachuk, Mora might get involved. Of course, Mora probably will get involved because he's on the softer tyre compound. And this is exactly the situation that he's been waiting for, a chain of cars that he can maybe pick off one by one by one. But yeah, here we go. Another DRS straight coming up. Mora getting closer and closer to the pack. And Francesconi putting himself in position to maybe jump ahead of his teammate as well. Not sure if they'll be speaking to each other at this point in time. Not sure if they'll have spoken to each other before the race about a situation such as this one. But we'll see exactly what they do here.
I just saw the weirdest of things as Fournier was lapping Danny Robbins. Danny Robbins ran into the grass on the straight, so that was a bit odd. But he did manage to keep it out of the wall, and Fournier got past safely. But that did look a bit odd, and I bet that must have scared Fournier as well.
Interesting way of getting out of the way, but anyway, seems to have worked. Back to that fight. We've got a change, I think. Something's just happened anyway, as we go down towards turn 1. And indeed, it's Muscat on the outside of Kosmala. Now, we've seen them going side by side through here a couple of times. Now, Muscat, we know he doesn't like to back off into this corner. He's still there. Kosmala's still there as well, and he has the inside line. However, of course, the next corner after this is a left-hander, but Muscat's not going to be alongside him for it. Slight twitch and drops back. Francesconi takes a look, and Muscat locks up. That was close. I was wondering whether Francesconi might get up the inside there, but not quite. Mora is now right on the back of this chain as well. He has a full dose of DRS. Not that you can have less than a full dose of DRS, but you know what I mean.
The only difficulty for Mora at this moment is that everyone in front of him has DRS as well, so he really needs to be close on the back of these guys to be able to pick them off. I think he'd rather would have had them all a part of each other so that he could pick them off one by one without them having DRS. But we'll see on this straight what happens, as he has a big twitch as well as Rybachuk in front of him.
Indeed, Kosmala now going defensive again, going really defensive towards turn 1. We've got Muscat on the outside, Francesconi right with them. And Muscat, I think, oh, Kosmala's had a twitch. Right, this is Muscat's chance. This is Muscat's chance. He's got to go for it now on the outside. But he's done this the last couple of laps. He's been side by side with them through here, and they haven't. Oh, as they touch heels again, haven't been able to get through. Same goes for this lap. Still, the order stays the same. Now again, Muscat just has to stick with him, try to force him into another mistake like that one.
Yes, and while these guys are battling, more and more drivers, as Mora tries to overtake Rybachuk in that tight corner. but he didn't make a stick. They did touch a bit, but they both got through safely. Rubicek does seem to have a little bit of a gap now to the car in front, so I hope for him that he still has DRS. Otherwise, he's going to be a sitting duck for Mora now.
Interestingly, Mora has the fastest lap of the race, and he sat only a couple of laps ago. So Mora really flying at this point, getting onto the back of this chain. Kosmala going defensive, Muscat almost going with him. Out of the final corner we go, DRS straight inbound. Kosmala, Muscat and Francesconi very close. Sandeep Singh right on the back of them. We now have just 10 laps remaining in this race. Francesconi, okay, the TG cars have swapped places. This may be tactical. We've now got Francesconi ahead of Muscat, and he might want to go for Kosmala, see if he has any better luck. Mora now has got ahead of Rybachuk, so that's the first car picked off for him. His next target is Sandeep Singh. Here we go through the downhill S's before heading again to the straights, where Francesconi may have his first chance, his first swipe at getting past Kosmala for P4.
Yes, and let's not forget Francesconi was up in the P1 for a little bit as well at the beginning of the race before we had the incident, of course, with I think it was Faber. But these they had a crash, of course, and he's making his way back up now. And I think Jason realized that he was not able to pull off the move right now, and his teammate was, of course, in front of him earlier in the race, so he is probably thinking he might have some more luck as they are heading towards the main straight now.
Final corner for this bunch. Kosmala under control. Francesconi gets a good exit. Now, what can he do about him? His teammate Muscat couldn't quite do anything. He challenged, but now it's Francesconi's turn. Sells him the dummy. We saw him doing that on someone else earlier, and this time it works as well. So Francesconi, great move. He gets through. Muscat not able to follow him through, but that's the first step anyway. Francesconi has got past Kosmala. Now, will he try to stretch his legs? I think he'll have to, because Kosmala is in the DRS again. He's on the outside line, trying to come straight back at Francesconi. He's going to run slightly wide there. I was wondering as well whether Francesconi might try to hold up Kosmala to give Muscat a better chance of getting through, but with the DRS, I'm not sure that would be wise. It would more likely allow Kosmala straight back through again. So I think Francesconi just has to put his foot down now and hope that his teammate can follow suit.
Yes, and we did see that Muscat was quick, but of course Kosmala didn't have DRS back then, and now he does have for now, as long as he stays with Francesconi. So that's going to be even more difficult for Muscat now to pass Kosmala. And we'll see how that goes. Meanwhile, Pedro Mora is still in P8 behind Sandeep Singh, who's doing a great job as well in P7. Yeah, maybe Mora not picking them up as quickly as he'd like.
Faber side by side with Lali. This is for P13. They're going to lock wheels, are they? Yes, they are, although they both keep it on the road. Lali doing a good job. He's come up from the back of the grid. He's in P13 as it stands. Lakers and Greg side by side right behind them as well. This is the fight for 13th, 14th, 15th and 16th, the lower positions of the point scoring places, which is important for their little championship fight. We have Bickers now going past Greg and down towards turn 1, keeping it under control. Oh, as Faber doesn't. Faber runs wide. Just about keeps him under control, but not very well.
Mora around the outside of Singh for P7.
Yeah, Mora's still there. Mora's still there as we go into the S's. And that was almost a Jason Muscat style maneuver, but Sandeep Singh keeps the place. Now, Lali and Bickers and Faber are going to try exactly the same thing, and Greg might get involved as well. And Greg doesn't find it. Oh, wait, he does find a way. So Greg finds a way. He's up the inside and gets the drive. Terence Greg is going to get past Adrian Faber here. He does indeed. Faber has to back off. Ooh, touches the rear of him and loses momentum. Greg keeps it under control. Greg now up into the final point scoring position.
Yes, and of these 4 drivers who were fighting, Lalu, Bickers, Greg, the front 3 now, Lalu, Bickers and Greg are all on the soft tires, so it's really going to be important for them, and I guess that's why Greg rushed the move as well there on Faber, because he knew he had to get past on those tires, and he needs to pick up more positions because Collinsborg is next for these 3 drivers, and Lalu is already on the back of him.
So down towards turn 1, we still have a couple of battles going on, a couple of chains. We have Mora taking a look at Singh. Very close, not quite. Mora losing time. And as I said earlier, this is the disadvantage of going onto softs late. It means you have to pass cars on the road, which costs you time. Around the outside of Singh he goes. That's going to be a little bit wide. Too wide. Singh goes straight back through. So nothing doing quite yet for him.
Yes, and in the meantime, we have had another retirement, which is George Sutton, yeah, indeed. And it says he had an accident, but it looks like he had a brake failure, actually. Yes, indeed. Yeah, that's definitely a brake failure. That's not just... Oh, yeah, but then he had a crash, indeed. But he... yeah, it says accident, but he had a brake failure. And as we said in the beginning of the race, the brakes might be taking a hit out in the circuit. So, yeah, we're going to see if there's going to be more.
That's what you've got to be worried about at this point in time, because if it can happen to one person, it can happen to more. I'm wondering about George Sutton's teammate, maybe. Of course, that is... Oh, he's already out. That's Ben Horrell, never mind. But anyway, other drivers may fall foul of it.
Yes, as Mora has a good run on Sandeep Singh, and Singh has no rest this time, so this is going to be an easy move, I would say. He does have to go around the outside, but he makes it stick already before the corner, and Singh is not going to defend that anymore and not going to try to get back through. And,
Spork, yeah, you're absolutely right there. Lally ahead of Spork on the softer tyres. As I said, Lally doing a really good job in this race. Made up plenty of positions despite his grid drop. Spork almost coming back at him.
Oh, Kosmala's off, Kosmala's off.
Yeah, you spotted that quicker than I did. Kosmala is off the road. So Kosmala, who was running in 5th position, has had a spin, and that happened all by himself. It looks to me, wow, that was weird. That was really weird. He just jinked to the left mid-corner. Off he went into the gravel. I don't know what could cause that.
Perhaps a technical issue with the wheel?
Yeah, that was really weird there. It looks...
Yeah.
Well, that may just be me lagging, because I've had a couple of lag issues so far today, but...
No, it looked exactly the same for me, so... yeah, wheel issue indeed. He's out of the race now. That's really unfortunate from P5, and... yeah, not much you can do about that then.
Not Kosmala's fault at all, if indeed it was a wheel issue. And someone else has just gone... Has someone else just gone plowing straight on at the final corner there, or did I see it wrong? I think... Oh no, never mind, that was just a bit of lag from me, so that was not someone going off there. I feared we'd had another brake failure, but luckily we hadn't. Anyway, in these late stages, Fournier is now 3.8 seconds behind Duval, so I think the battle for the lead is over unless something happens to Duval. Duval now has to just conserve his brakes and his tyres, make sure that he doesn't befall a fate similar to that of George Sutton.
Yes, and one guy who will be very pleased with this is probably going to be Pedro Mora, because all of this means that Jason Muscat now has no DRS, as well as his teammate in front of him, Francesconi. He also has no DRS because the train has now been interrupted by the fact that Kosmala has dropped out. So that might be a few easier overtakes for Mora, but he has to hurry because we're only a few laps away from the end now.
Now, Mora's driven a really good race, although one thing that's helped him, of course, is the fact that he started P10, but he qualified P11th. He was elevated up due to a penalty, I think, for possibly Rewardchik. But anyway, that meant that he was allowed to start on tyres of his decision, his choice, and he went for the mediums. Of course, he wouldn't have been able to do that strategy if he had not qualified P11 or lower. But yeah, P11 is the highest position in which you can do that, so he may have ended up benefiting from that. A little bit of battling between Mike Quint and Roy Schroden. That's not over points-paying positions, although still they're having a little scrap of their own there over P18. So up in front, ooh, Tapper still trying to find a way past that Reba check here. And I think Tapper would be disappointed with P9. P8 would be a little bit more satisfactory for him.
Yes, of course, let's not forget he finished on the podium last round as well. So I think any position below that would be a little bit disappointing. So the higher up he can get, yeah, the happier he will be. But overall, I think it's still a good race. And let's not forget that from P3, Jack Mayer up to Tapper, it's all not that far apart. It's just the leading two, Deval and Fournier, who are really pulling away from the rest. Deval now 4 seconds ahead of Fournier, but then the gap is 23 more seconds to Jack Mayer from Fournier. So they could almost go for an extra pit stop now, I would say.
Sure. Anyway, oh, we've got Beckers to the inside of Greg. That was close, but they make it through. That's the fight. P13 still going on there in the lower part of the point of playing positions. They've got away with it from Faber due to a course. Oh, and Bickers makes a mistake. So Bickers makes the mistake. He dived to the inside of Greg. Greg did well to see him coming and not turn in. Bickers now back to the inside of oh, contact, and around goes Bickers. Around he goes. He gets going before anyone else comes through. But yeah, that I think that's a mistake from Bickers, to be honest. He was too far back to make that move, and there wasn't really a gap there. It was always going to close. But anyway, Lewis Bickers doesn't lose a place, but I think that might be his last chance to finish P13.
That's correct. Overshoots turn 1 now.
Yeah, so, keeps him on the road though.
Yeah, luckily. So let's hope that's not a brake failure for him as well. Let's hope he can continue. But now Greg can focus on the guy in front, Colin Spork. But actually, Spork is able to keep up quite nicely to Lalu. And even though Lalu's running... Sorry?
Something's happened to Mike Quint. He's in the pits. But anyway, he doesn't appear to have any damage. But despite that, he is stopping.
It looks like a normal pit stop. Maybe his tires had worn too much. That could be the case.
Maybe.
Or maybe he's going to try for the fastest lap, because I think the fastest lap in this series earns your team money. So.
Okay, I didn't know that actually, but anyway, that might well be what he's doing, because he wasn't going to score a point anyway. He was running P19, or P18, sorry, and well, that's only put in P21, so it's not really going to change much.
So if I'm correct, it's actually 500,000, but it might be too much. It might also be just 100,000. Maybe if someone could point out the correct amount, but I believe at least there is a little bit of a prize for the fastest lap. So yeah, that might be what he's doing. Although he did have to let himself get lapped.
Now, one thing I've noticed is that Francesconi now has DRS from Jack Mayer. Now, I didn't think that. Oh, as Singh and Rybachuk go side by side, and Rybachuk is on the inside touch, and he gets through. I was going to say, Francesconi, I wasn't expecting him to be in the fight for the podium after his incident earlier on, but he's been driving a wonderful, wonderful race, a great recovery drive to get back up, and yeah, he could still have a challenge for P3 here, which would be really, really impressive. But it's a Francesconi style performance, and he's very close to the back of Mayer. Can Mayer hold him off for the 1.5 laps we still have left in this race?
Yes, he's really closing up now, and as you said, yeah, really impressive. Of course, he was able to keep up with Fournier and Deval, and they are so far ahead. So of course, it shows that he was really able to do that pace on his own, and that's why he managed to make it through up to P4 right now. But maybe he can get P3 and the podium. That would be very nice for him after a DNF in Australia.
So through the final corner they go. Mayer doesn't get the best exit. Now he'll be cursing under his breath now, pulls over to the right-hand side of the circuit as we head onto the final lap of the race, and we have a fight for P3, which might go right to the line. Francesconi to the inside, tells him a dummy. He's still coming. He's still coming. He runs wide. Mayer back on the outside. There's contact. Mayer's still there, though. Mayer's still there. He'll now, well, he won't have the DRS because Francesconi has it. He will have the slipstream, though. He goes back to the outside. That's going to be brave. He goes for the switchback. Francesconi covers it off. Now, there is still a chance, but Jack Mayer, he still has 2 DRS zones still to come on this track. before the checkered flag. Francesconi has got through though, and it's going to be very difficult for Mir to get him back again. What a great recovery drive and a great move that was from Michael Francesconi. Now we have to watch Liam de Waal. He is coming out of the penultimate corner. He just has one corner to go in this race. He's driven it absolutely wonderfully. Liam de Waal comes down at the final straight and wins for the second time in 2 consecutive races. De Waal unstoppable. Geoffrey Fournier is second, but who is going to be third? The fight continues. Mir was not able to get very close in that DRS zone there on the back straight. And I'm afraid I think it's over here, because actually this straight is not a DRS zone. He does have one to go though on the final straight, although it's a shortened one due to the location of the finish line. Michael Francesconi takes third on the final lap, and he finishes there. Francesconi third, Mir fourth, despite driving a wonderful race. Jason Muscat was pretty close towards the end there as well. He finishes fifth, Mora sixth, Rybachuk seventh, and it's Singh, Tapper, Lally, Saracino, Spork, Greg, Bickers, and Bickers just finishing in P14 there. Faber is going to be at P15 ahead of Matthew Klipp and Heigo Poom, Roy Schroten, Pascal Schmidt, Kaz Reitfeld. Then Mike Quinn and Danny Robbins make out the other finishers. And the retirements were Sebastian Kosmala, George Sutton, James Jubert, Ben Horrell, Johan Lindberg, Dino Paolini, Konrad Zaribic, and Tomasz Vuk. Wopke, what a race!
Yeah, wow, amazing stuff. There were battles throughout the field the whole race, and I really enjoyed it. Of course, the top two in the end pulled away a little bit from each other and from the rest of the field, but still, what a great race, and a lot of amazing battles. And we did see quite a bit of contact, but it was just enough. There weren't many real incidents. It was just a bit of contact and rubbing, but not much too bad. And one thing I want to come back to real quickly is Mike Quint. As we said, he made the late pit stop, and he did set the fastest lap. So there will be a little bit of prize money coming the team's way, and that's a little bit of consolidation for the fact he wasn't able to score points today.
Good for him. Anyway, so that's the end of this race. We're now going to wait for a bit to see if any drivers come into the interview booth. And it'd be great to speak to our double winner, Liam de Waal, or maybe our podium finishers, Fournier or Francesconi. Francesconi, of course, only just scoring a podium ticket on the very last lap of the race, but I have to give credit as well. Jack Mir drove a great race. He's only 19 years old, and actually 19 between this round and last. So we should wish a late happy birthday to Jack Mir for turning 19. But anyway, a good race for him. P4 is going to be his best Superleague Lights result, unless I am very much mistaken. But Francesconi, what a recovery drive. My driver of the day has to go to Liam de Waal, of course. For finishing first after taking pole. De Waal simply was the best driver. I don't think anyone can doubt that. Although my move of the day is going to Geoffrey Fournier for that fantastic double overtake for the lead of the race in the early stages. You don't get much more exciting than that.
Yeah, exactly. I agree with you completely. There's little doubt that Liam was really the best today. Of course, otherwise you wouldn't win. And he was able to pull away from Fournier in the end as well. One driver as well with the great comeback, Francesconi. Really good drive from him. A shame about the incident. Yeah, but that's racing as well. And he did a great job to recover it back to third. And I think that's the maximum he could get after that crash. So really good job.
Incidentally, I was wrong. I was wrong by saying that that was Mir's best Superleague Lights finish, as he actually finished third at Singapore last year, and he has finished fourth in the past as well. He finished fourth at Azerbaijan last year as well. So my apologies to Jack there. And those are incidentally his best finishes in GPVWC as a whole, as he's never really had that much luck in other series that we've hosted. But anyway, not sure. Oh, wait, we do have an interview. We have our race winner, Liam de Waal. Hey there, Liam.
Hello, hello.
Hello. So, Liam, you've won again. It's another pole position and another race win. Talk us through it.
It was kind of hard at the start because my plan was if I got pole, I wanted to get out of DRS in the first two laps. but Francisconi just sticked with me. That was annoying. So I wanted to let him by quite quickly so I can leap his or get his DRS and just, chill and save my tires, which he eventually did. And then I think something happened behind me, which made me and Jeffrey just get free air and be able to drive away. And then I was just chilling behind Jeffrey, saving my tires for the undercut, or for the overcut rather, sorry, which worked. And then it was close with his DRS after the pit stop, but he just barely didn't get it. So I was a bit lucky there. And after that, it was Jeffrey had really good pace, so I had to really push, but I managed it luckily.
Wow, congratulations. It was a wonderful race and a very close battle as well with you, Francesconi, and Fournier in at the early stages. I know it dissipated towards the end, but were you worried at all? That looked like a pretty close scrap.
Yeah, it was. Actually, I wanted to let him by at that point, but Jeffrey was also. I didn't want both of them by. I only wanted one. So it was a bit close between me and Jeffrey, but I know he's a very good driver, and I can trust him on track. So it turned out well, and I luckily didn't let both of them pass, and only Michael. And yeah, it was a good battle. It's a little small battle.
That is supreme judgment. But anyway, if you can do this with a car that hasn't been developed at all, what do you think you can do when the upgrade package arrives?
Yeah, hopefully the same. I don't think the upgrades do too much. Maybe it's like a tenth a lap, which still matters, but it's not like I'm losing like 3/10 a lap or something. But hopefully I can keep this up and get a very good result in Turkey as well.
I mean, still, that's 5 seconds a race, more or less. But anyway, thank you very much for speaking to us, Liam, and congrats on your second victory in a row.
Thank you.
So we go now to our second place finisher, Jeffrey Fournier. First of all, Jeffrey, I want to start with something that I was absolutely enthusing over in the commentary box. That overtake.
Which one? the two when I overtook the two cars?
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, well, was close. I think we went side by side with Liam for a small part of turn 2, but well, that was now or never. I don't know. It seems Michael wanted to save a bit, and yeah, wanted to work with the heat of the race and work together and try to pull away, and that's what we managed to do with Liam. Yeah, going quicker and working together. He didn't pass me, so we could pull away, and then, well, then he was just quicker and managing his tires better than me. So, well done to him.
Well, you still managed to finish in second position on your first race in this series of Superleague Lights. Next of all, we go to Istanbul, of course. It's an older style Grand Prix circuit. How do you feel about the circuit, and what are your plans and expectations from it?
Well, Istanbul is a nice track. I couldn't do it last year, so if there is an occasion, which might happen if Ryan don't get his new wheel in time.
Oh, okay.
So we'll see. Well, as long as some guys can put some pressure on Yam, I'm fine with it.
It's a shame you're not going to be doing the full season entry, but still, great job, and thanks for talking to us.
Thanks to you.
Much not least, we're going to bring in our third place finisher after a fantastic late race scrap, Michael Francesconi. Mike, can you hear us?
Hey, hi everyone.
Hey there. So that was a very eventful race for you there. You fought for the lead, you spun, and then you fought for the podium place again. Talk us through it.
Oh yes. I'm a little bit disappointed because I'm sorry for my English. It's not the best, but what say? So yes, I'm a little bit disappointed because I have the pace maybe for a battle to the win. I was there. We try to save the tires more as we can, and nothing after the contact with Faber. I was a little bit angry. I was close to escape from the race, but I tried to continue. And at the end, I did a good result because podium is very good. I was 18, I think, after the contact. and so I'm happy for the podium.
Well, I am so glad that you didn't escape out of the race because otherwise we wouldn't have had that late race chase. And just talk us through that, your battle with Jack Mayer there.
Yes, no, we did a nice battle. Very correct driver. Was on the limit, but nice battle and very good. And I want to say happy for Jason because he have some problem with feeling with the car, but he did a great result because he started in 15 and finish 50, I think. He did a very good result for us and for the team.
It was a good result nonetheless, and I'm sure that placed you well in the Constructors' Championship. We'll have to see. But anyway, thank you very much for the interview, and good luck for your future rounds.
Okay, thank you guys, and sorry for my English.
It's
not
okay.
too bad.
Your English is great. Your English is much better than my Italian. So anyway,
Okay, perfect. Bye, good night.
Good night.
ciao.
Ciao.
Anyway, so that's a lot. That is Super League Lights for round 2. I would like to give a big thank you to Gerrit de Vries, who streamed and broadcasted today, and he provided the camera views that you saw on your screen. And I would also like to say thank you to Wopke Hoekstra, who did a good job as my my co-commentator. Wopke, would you like to say anything for the stream ends?
Yeah, I just really enjoyed it, and it was a shame I wasn't here for the first round, but I saw that my place was filled in very nicely as well. So yeah, I was happy with that as well, and I really enjoyed doing this with you. So let's hope we are here in 2 weeks' time again for the next round.
Totally. We look forward to Istanbul, Turkey. It's an old-style Grand Prix circuit that is no longer used for Formula One, although will be used for GPVWC Super League Lights. So anyway, join us in 2 weeks, and until then, stay safe.